Today I'm experimenting with money makers for low to mid-level accounts. Last time I showed you how to earn enough money for a bond in free-to-play, so if you want to learn some free-to-play money makers, check out that video, it'll be in the description. Now that we've earned a bond, we can start to try out some much faster money makers. My account doesn't have great levels, and I've never really done much combat in old school Runescape, so I'm going to steer clear of combat for now, and just focus on some opportunities with relatively low entrance requirements that either you can do straight away, or you can do with some minimal unlocks once you get members. So for our first method, we're going to need 29 construction, 26 crafting, and Fossil Island unlocked. Now Fossil Island is a great unlock anyway. I actually unlocked it for the release of Varlamore because it is one of the best ways to train Hunter, and Varlamore came with the new Hunters Guild. To do this, you need to complete the Bon Voyage quest, which requires 100 museum kudos. You can get that with a few easy quests, which you'll want to do anyway, and by doing the activities in the museum. You can check the wiki for this, but if you'd like to see a video on it, then just let me know and I can make a video showing how to unlock Fossil Island. Once you've finished the quest, you want to bring 4 oak planks, 1 rope, 1 iron bar, 10 nails and a hammer to the island and build the bank chest and the loom. You also want to buy some jute fibre. So you can do this with as much or as little money as you want. We'll just start with a small amount and then we'll slowly work our way up, buying more as we earn more money. Once you finish the quest and you've got your jute, you come and you build the bank chest and the loom. I think this is the only place in the game that has a loom and a bank chest so close together. So you could do this in other places, but this is by far the best because they're in such close proximity. We draw your jute fibre from the bank chest. You run over to the loom and you make your nets and then you go back and forth. One thing you can do as well, if you have any of the graceful outfit unlocked, you can wear that so that your run energy doesn't decrease quite so much. Another good thing about this method is that it gives you crafting XP. So when I started doing this, I didn't actually have a high enough crafting level to make the birdhouses that I wanted to make on the island to train Hunter. And by the time I finished, I'd got enough crafting levels to make the high level birdhouses. So it's nice to get XP passively while you also make money. So I made a small amount of nets, sold them, then with the money reinvested it, made more nets, and I kept doing that. In the end, I managed to make 3,743 nets for a total sale price of just over 13 million GP. So the jute fibers on average cost me about 1,400 each, and the nets I sold for nearly 3,500 on average each. Sometimes I sold them for more than that. So obviously if you wait for lower buy prices and higher sell prices, you'll make more money, but it's normally better to just make higher volume. So you can make about 700k on each net, which is about a 25% profit margin. So I managed to make about 1,100 nets in an hour, just over that, which meant I averaged 760,000 GP per hour with this method, so pretty solid. I did this on the weekend, and every time I wanted to buy jute fibers, they bought immediately. When I went to sell nets, they sold immediately. It was really good. I did this a little bit during the week. It took a little bit longer to buy my fibers and sell my nets, but not that long. I'd often just leave the orders in when I went to bed, and then they'd be fulfilled in the morning, or they'd just get fulfilled throughout the day if I raised them in the morning. It was pretty good. Definitely faster on the weekend, but it was very good during the week as well, and actually made the bulk of my money from this, and this money maker is going to fund all my other money makers. So this next money maker absolutely terrifies me. I am terrified of the wilderness, but time to be brave. We're going to try this. I've heard it's really good. However, I'll be honest with you, I did scout this out over the weekend on a few different worlds, and I did see PKers there. It's now Monday morning as I've got today off work, so hoping that there'll be less people online and less PKers on. We will see. But yeah, the idea of this is to make money using the Wilderness Agility course. For those of you who don't know, first of all, the Wilderness Agility course is really good XP per hour. Not only do you get XP for actually running the course, but you get tickets with every lap. And the more tickets you get, the more XP you can cash them in for. But more importantly, if you bring 150,000 gold and pay the gold to the ticket machine, you'll also get rewards of valuable items. So this method just needs level 52 agility in order to get into the course, and 150,000 gold to pay the dispenser. In order to reduce the risk, we are gonna first of all make our way over to the agility course with nothing but a knife, just to see who's there. We use the knife to slash this cobweb, and we'll also use it later. We're not going to bring the gold right now. We're just going to check out to see if there are any PKers around. If there's not, we'll go to the bank, which is relatively nearby, by the Mage Arena. And we'll get that cash out. There are different ways you can get here. I think the most reliable way is probably using that lever, like I said. There was a person in there, but it looked like they were actually running the course. We'll see. We might die. We'll go get the gold, and we will take nothing else with us. So hopefully this guy is chill. Now the way this works is you come here, you put 150k in the agility dispenser, and then every time you complete a lap, you'll get rewards. And the first time you come here, or if you don't have a looting bag in your bank or on your person, the machine will also give you a looting bag. I did use this sometimes, but actually I found it quite helpful, especially when recording, to not use the looting bag so I could just see the loot in my inventory. But yeah, that's quite a nice feature as well, that you get a free looting bag. So the good thing about this is you get really good agility XP, and agility is a notoriously slow skill to train. You can cash in your tickets that you get on every lap for even more XP, which is very nice. So I'm going to try running this with nothing to start with. There's different schools of thought on this. You can go to the agility course absolutely naked, which is what I did because I don't know how to PvP. I don't know all the tips and tricks, so I went with nothing to risk as little as possible. Obviously you do risk your 150k that you put into the dispenser, but in the grand scheme of things that's not really very much when you look at how much money you get from these money makers. It's important to note you lose that money if you leave the course for any reason. So if you die or if you leave, you'll lose the money you put in and you have to pay 150k again to start getting rewards. It's also worth noting you get better rewards the more laps you do. In the first 15 laps, you'll get the lower tier of loot, or the likelihood for the higher tier of loot will be less. 16 to 30 laps is the next tier, 31 to 60 laps is the next tier, and once you're on 61 laps and over, you can get the best loot, or you got the best chance of getting the best loot. So you will get the most money if you stay here for longer, and you'll get the most GP per hour. But obviously it's risk versus reward. The longer that you stay here, the more chance a PK will come and kill you. Being a low combat level here is in some ways an advantage, because you see you've got the wilderness level here. A PK can only attack you if they are within that level. So, you know, if you're combat level 50 and you're in wilderness level 50, then you can be attacked by a level 0 player or a level 100 player. But you couldn't be attacked by a level 120 player. So being a low combat level is actually a bit of an advantage in this case. And of course, some people prefer to bring PvP gear so they can defend themselves. Some people kind of do a middle ground where they bring only defensive gear. There's some talk about using some kind of way to freeze the enemy. So you freeze them, you stand under them, and then you log out. I don't know how to do that, so I haven't tried that, but that is an option as well. If you log out, you don't lose your 150k fee that you've paid, but you do lose 25 laps off your lap count. So it does hurt a little bit. The annoying thing is there's skeletons all over this map, so you can't really log out anywhere because you're always in combat. There is a place near the agility dispenser that you can log out, but of course that's where the PKers log in. So yeah, it can be difficult. So yeah, you just keep running around. You tag the agility dispenser every time you go around. That restores your run energy and gives you your rewards for that lap. Rune Medhelm, that's worth something. 11k. So the fact that there's somebody else running here tells me it's also likely somebody else could come to PK here. You know, I'm not alone is the point. But we'll see. In the worst case scenario, we lose 150k. Or other money makers will more than make up for that. So it looks like this is sustainable because you get food as rewards. Ooh, Rune Chain Body. Yeah, I've more than made my money back now. And I'm 15 minutes in. What I'm thinking is, if I do an hour and take the money I've got, then I'm in the positive, right? I've probably more than doubled my money. And then I can come back and just go for as long as I can. And if I get PK'd and lose everything, I've not actually lost anything because it's paid for itself in the first run. That's my thinking. That's the other thing about this, is that you're also earning really good agility experience while you do it. And agility is quite a slow skill to train. So I'm a big fan of money makers that actually train skills at the same time. And this is a great one, as long as you don't get PK'd. So we are halfway through our time nearly, and we are at 32 laps, give or take. So more than halfway towards the maximum reward. So we should start earning money much faster. The Rune Chain Body, nice. So just in Rune Chain Bodies, we have made our money back. Exactly. So we are at easily 300k an hour, but probably more like 600k an hour so far. And it's going to get better. There you go, 61 tickets. So now we're at the best reward tier you can get. So we'll keep going for another 7 minutes to get to the whole hour and then cash in and see what we've got, assuming we don't die in the next 7 minutes. Okay, that's a PKer. We're nearly at our full hour, so we'll leave a couple of minutes early and head over to the Major Arena Bank. We do have a knife so we can cut through the cobwebs. It's not worth risking sticking around for the sake of a couple of minutes. Even if that PKer is too high a level to attack us, they can always bring in a lower level ult, so we'll just leave now and we'll go cash in. So let's just put all this in the loot calculator. Okay, 673,085 GP, and that's just what's in our inventory. And now if we look inside our looting bag, that's another 586,000 GP. So 1.25 million total, minus the 150k we paid the dispenser. Bear in mind we were typing a lot and we were not really running the course very efficiently. We left a couple of minutes early as well. That puts this method at easily 1.1 million per hour, if not more. That is amazing. Wow. I am so happy with that. Okay, here we go again. We're going to see if we can have another successful run or make even more money than last time. What I'm going to try this time is I'm going to try and stay a full 2 hours because the GP per hour massively increases during that second hour because the whole time is spent at the maximum reward tier. It takes about an hour to get to the top reward tier, and if you leave immediately you don't get much of the benefit from that, so 2 hours should be significantly more profitable than 1 hour. It is worth noting that I finished early last time because a PKer logged on, so there are definitely PKers around, so we're going to have to be careful. It's actually really nice that we've met some friendly people here. Makes a nice change from people in the wilderness just trying to kill me. So they say if you get attacked here, just run across the log balance because they've got no way to get to you except to follow you across the log balance, at which point you can climb the hill and get out. Problem is, what if they just sit at the top of the hill and camp you? You can't log out here because the skeletons are hitting you, and you will eventually just die to the mobs. So I'm not too sure about that method. So I met a couple of friendly guys here. Shout out to Yahweh is Good and Gim Gibbo. They were two really friendly guys and they were giving me advice about the method. Gim Gibbo said he was here for 2 hours and he kindly shared this screenshot with me to show how much GP and agility XP he gained in that time. So this gives us quite a nice benchmark. So Gim Gibbo managed to get 62.3k agility XP per hour and 2.12 million per hour. So that's an amazing result. Oh no. Oh. Man, I was doing so well as well. Oh, he's frozen me. It's not a lot I can do. But yeah, put on my prayers, but it's not going to help. I mean, I'll eat. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, that's disappointing, but it's the wilderness. That's what it's all about. And that's the risk you take, guys. So I probably lost, what, 3 mil there? But that's the game, you know? So disappointing, but hey, I made like 1.3 mil. It does feel a bit crappy going after players who can't defend themselves. Like, you know, if you want a PK, go and actually fight people who will fight back. But it's part of the game. It's fair enough. But yeah, still feels bad though. Okay, we'll give this one more try. We're just going to do an hour and then we'll get out. If we see a PK, we'll leave. Even if they're too high level to attack me, we'll still leave because they might bring in an ult that's lower level. I'm going to be super cagey now. Like the first time we did this, we saw a PK come and we left and we got out with our loot. The second time, we thought the PK was too high level to attack us, and he was. There were two actually, I think we saw. They were both too high level. So we stuck around, and then of course they brought in a lower level ult. It might have just been another player, but I'm guessing it was an ult. And they killed us and took our loot, which is probably like 2, 3, maybe 4 million worth of loot. Okay, that was a good first drop. For the first lap, we got a rune item. That's pretty good going. Just 60 more laps to go. Did someone just log there, or was that my imagination? Oh no, it was him getting into the pipe. Okay, that scared me. So it's important to note that if you fail any obstacle, you need to go back and redo that obstacle, otherwise it won't count as a complete lap. I kept forgetting to do that and I kept finishing laps and not having them counted, which was annoying. That's a PK. It's too high level for me, but do I want to leave? Kind of tempted to leave, you know. Did say if I saw a PK I would leave. I mean, I've already spent my money. So I guess log out here and log on again in the morning, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think that's it for tonight, folks. We saw a PKer and we are going to log out and we're going to leave it a bit and then we will log back in. I mean, we could leave, but then our 150k we spent is gone. And okay, yes, logging out loses 25 laps of our streak. I was on around like 10 laps anyway, so it's not that big a loss. I'll log out, we'll leave it a bit and then we'll go in. Actually, I'm probably going to go to bed now anyway. So we'll try again, maybe when I finish work tomorrow or maybe on the weekend, we'll see. It's now the morning after, and we're going to try and log on and see if there's any PKs on. Now I've got an hour before I start work, so I'm going to try and get out of this agility course. I want to make a bit of profit, get out, and then not come back, because this is a really good method if you don't mind a bit of risk. I mean, at the end of the day, you're only risking 150k. But what it means is you can kind of get stuck here. Say like what happened here where I just paid 150k and then a PK came and I had to log off. Like, sure, I could have left and just forfeited my 150k, but it was a bit rubbish. Like, you want to get something for it. So I ended up logging out here and then I couldn't really log back in. So I meant I just had to not play the game for like 24 hours or a bit longer until I could find time to actually focus on the game for an hour and then get out. It's feasible you could make an account, just train agility, and then come here. So you could be like combat level 1. It's also worth noting this gate has one of those annoying "are you sure" dialogue options on it. Now, I understand why they've done that, because you don't want to accidentally click it and leave and lose your 150k on your lap streak. But equally, I'd recommend clicking on it and selecting "don't ask again," so you can quickly click on the gate and get out if you need to. Okay, so unfortunately my video corrupted here, but I just to let you know, I logged in and I saw a PK after a couple of minutes, so I switched worlds. And then about 20 minutes later, another PK logged in. There were some other people running around with me, so the PK actually went on one of those first. I tried to get out at the gate, but that stupid menu meant that I couldn't get out. It kept cancelling when the skeleton hit me. So it took me ages to get out, which allowed him to catch up. So he caught up to me and then he killed me anyway, just outside the agility course, which was annoying. Yeah, I must admit, I saw PKs here a lot. I tried on the weekend, I just scouted it out and there was constantly PKs coming in over the weekend. I tried during the week and I probably saw a PK maybe every 20 minutes or so. And often they were high level and they couldn't attack, but sometimes they would bring in lower level alts to attack, or just other low level players would come in. So it was risky, but the times where you don't die, you get some really good loot. So it's kind of a risk reward thing. It all kind of balances out. It's hard to estimate the GP per hour here. If you manage to survive and do the course quickly, you could make over 2 million per hour. Personally, I made 1.1 million per hour on my first run, but then I died on the other 2 runs. And each time I died, I lost 150k and 2 hours of work overall. So my actual profit average is just 250k per hour. So it's not great, but then if you don't encounter a PKer, you will make millions. So it's a bit of a gamble. I can't really recommend it. Just from my own results here, it's just not worth the aggro for me, but it's quite nice when you do get a good run. I mean, I might come and try this again. If I get membership for one of my alts, I might come and do this again and just have my alt bank for me. But yeah, this was terrifying. So I think it's time to try something a little more relaxed, which brings me on to our next moneymaker. So now we're going to be crafting Pyre logs. specifically redwood pyre logs. Now, it's worth noting, this confused me at first. You need to go and complete the Shades of Morton quest. That will then unlock pyre logs. So go and do that first. Again, it's very, very fast. I went and quickly did it just for the purposes of this video. And then you want to buy up sacred oil and redwood logs. And then you just combine them together to make redwood pyre logs. Sacred oil can be quite expensive. I often found I had to offer above the going rate to buy it, but this always made a profit. You need a fair bit of money to make big amounts, but the good thing about this is the sacred oil is expensive, so you don't need such a big profit margin to make big money. And also you don't even have to make that many pyre logs to make money. It doesn't take a long time. Now, it's important how you set your inventory up for this, because you don't want to be rearranging your inventory every time you go to the bank. So you want to set up your inventory, 14 logs in 2 columns, and then your 14 sacred oils in 2 columns. And then you click on each of them, make the pyre logs, and then go back to the bank, put in just the pyre logs or just the empty vials. And then before you put in the other item, withdraw your next item. So for example, put in the empty vials, withdraw the sacred oil, then put in the pyre logs, then withdraw the redwood logs, or vice versa. And that way you don't have to set up your inventory again and again. It just uses the same setup you've already created. So yeah, keep doing this, sell the redwood pyre logs, and you make a significant profit. Again, I found the redwood logs you can always buy very quickly. Sacred oil can take a bit longer to buy, and like I said, sometimes you need to increase the price a little bit. The pyre logs do always sell eventually for a decent price. Sometimes you need to leave them in overnight. I managed to make 14 pyre logs in 18 seconds, so that's 2,800 pyre logs an hour. And I bought the logs for 583 GP and the oil for 2,660. I sold the pyre logs for 3,530, so that's 287 profit on each log. And at 2,800 an hour, that's 800,000 gold per hour, which is great. It does take a little while to buy the oil, and it does take a little while to sell the logs, but it's a good money maker overall, and I managed to do it at high volume as well. So pyre logs, recommended. So there's 3 solid money makers for you. I've actually got a bunch more, but I couldn't squeeze them all into this video. If you want to find out what those are, or just generally want to see more videos like this, please drop me a comment to let me know. And of course, if you subscribe, it'll let you know when my next video is out, and it'll also help me out a lot as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.